In 2025, becoming a U.S. citizen is still a dream shared by millions. And for many immigrants, the naturalization interview is the final, make-or-break step on that journey. But under President Donald Trump's return to the White House, questions have started to rise about whether the citizenship process itself is changing again. Will the civics test become harder? Will the interview get more intense? Will new rules block even lawful immigrants from reaching the finish line? In this video, we're going to walk you through everything you need to know about the U.S. citizenship interview in 2025, including updated requirements, possible policy shifts under Trump, and a detailed breakdown of the actual questions and answers you'll face during the test. So whether you're preparing to take the test yourself, helping a family member, or just staying informed about U.S. immigration law, this is your complete 2025 guide. Let's start with the most important thing. What hasn't changed? Despite all the immigration crackdowns and enforcement actions under Trump's second term, the citizenship test itself remains under the 2008 format. That means you'll still be asked up to 10 civics questions, and you only need to answer 6 correctly to pass. The questions are drawn from a list of 100 official USCIS civics questions, covering American government, U.S. history, geography, rights, and responsibilities. The Trump administration in 2020 attempted to replace this test with a harder version that included 20 questions and more complicated phrasing. But that version was removed under Biden, and in 2025, the 2008 version is still in place. Next, let's talk about the English portion of the test. There are 3 parts here: reading, writing, and speaking. In the reading portion, the officer will give you 3 simple English sentences, and you must read one of them aloud correctly. These are usually sentences like, "George Washington was the first president." For the writing portion, the officer will dictate up to 3 sentences, and you need to write down one correctly. Sentences might include, "Citizens can vote," or "The White House is in Washington, D.C." Finally, the speaking portion is evaluated as the officer asks you questions about your Form N-400, which is your application for naturalization. This part tests your understanding of basic English in a conversation setting, and you must answer truthfully about your background, family, travel history, criminal record, if any, and moral character. Now, let's dive into the actual civics questions and answers that you should prepare for. These are oral questions, and the officer will stop asking once you get 6 correct. Let's go through some of the most frequently asked ones, along with the correct answers, starting with the government system. Question 1. What is the supreme law of the land? Answer: the Constitution. Question 2. What does the Constitution do? Answer: sets up the government, defines the government, and protects basic rights of Americans. Question 3. The idea of self-government is in the first 3 words of the Constitution. What are these words? Answer: we, the people. Question 4. What is one right or freedom from the First Amendment? Answer: speech. Other acceptable answers include religion, assembly, press, petition the government. Question 5. What are 2 rights in the Declaration of Independence? Answer: life and liberty. Also, pursuit of happiness. Now, let's look at the structure of the government. This section will test your knowledge of how power is divided in the U.S. Question 6. Name one branch or part of the government. Answer: Congress. Others: legislative, president, executive, the courts, judicial. Question 7. What stops one branch of government from becoming too powerful? Answer: checks and balances, or separation of powers. Question 8. Who is in charge of the executive branch? Answer: the President. Question 9. Who makes federal laws? Answer: Congress. Also, Senate and House of Representatives. Question 10. What are the two parts of the U.S. Congress? Answer: the Senate and House of Representatives. You may also get questions specific to your state. Question 11. Who is one of your state's U.S. senators now? Answer: answers vary by state. Check the current list at senate.gov. Question 12. Name your U.S. representative. Answer: again, this depends on your district. Check house.gov to find out. One major area of the civics test includes rights and responsibilities of citizens. For example, question 13. What is one responsibility that is only for U.S. citizens? Answer: serve on a jury or vote in a federal election. Question 14. Name one right only for U.S. citizens. Answer: vote in a federal election. Question 15. What are two rights of everyone living in the United States? Answer: freedom of expression and freedom of speech. Others: freedom of religion, assembly, petition the government, the right to bear arms. Question 16. What do we show loyalty to when we say the Pledge of Allegiance? Answer: the United States and the flag. Question 17. What is one promise you make when you become a United States citizen? Answer: obey the laws of the United States. Other answers: give up loyalty to other countries, serve in the U.S. military if needed. You'll also need to know a little U.S. history. Let's go through a few examples. Question 18. Who was the first president? Answer: George Washington. Question 19. What did the Emancipation Proclamation do? Answer: freed the slaves. Question 20. What movement tried to end racial discrimination? Answer: the Civil Rights Movement. Now, while these are the standard questions, some policies surrounding citizenship eligibility and processing time have been impacted by President Trump's immigration agenda in 2025. Under new executive orders, USCIS officers are being encouraged to apply stricter background scrutiny, especially around travel history, past immigration fraud, and suspected green card marriages. This doesn't mean that lawful applicants will be denied unfairly, but it does mean your interview may be more thorough than before. Officers have been instructed to dig deeper into inconsistencies in your N-400 application. For example, if you traveled abroad frequently, be prepared to explain why and show that you still maintained U.S. residency. If you claimed exemptions on taxes or took public benefits, those could also be areas of concern. In some cases, there are reports of delays in scheduling citizenship interviews, especially in high immigration states like California, New York, Texas, and Florida. This is partly due to new budget reallocations that prioritize deportation and fraud investigations over naturalization staffing. So while the test content hasn't changed, getting to the interview stage might take longer in 2025 than it did in past years. Make sure to check your case status regularly on the USCIS website and respond promptly to any requests for evidence. Now, let's discuss some best practices for passing the naturalization interview in 2025. First, study the civics questions thoroughly. Don't just memorize answers. Try to understand the context. Flashcards are helpful, and you can also use free practice apps provided by USCIS. If English is not your first language, start practicing aloud now. Ask a friend or relative to quiz you. Next, make sure your N-400 form is accurate and consistent with your immigration record. Any mismatch in dates, addresses, travel history, or employment could raise red flags. Bring all original documents to your interview, including your green card, state ID, passport, tax transcripts, and any supporting evidence related to name changes, marriage, divorce, or military service. Also, dress professionally and show up early. Treat the interview with the seriousness of a job interview. Be polite, answer questions clearly and confidently. And if you don't understand a question, it's okay to ask the officer to repeat or explain. Here's an important note for elderly applicants. If you are 65 years old or older and have been a green card holder for at least 20 years, you may be eligible for the simplified 20-question civics test in your native language. You only need to answer 6 correctly to pass. Also, if you have a disability that prevents you from learning English or taking the civics test, you may qualify for a medical exemption with Form N648, signed by a doctor. As we wrap up, remember, the U.S. citizenship interview is not meant to trick you. It's meant to confirm that you understand basic American civics and are ready to take on the responsibilities of being a citizen. While President Trump's 2025 policies have made some immigration paths more difficult, the naturalization test itself remains fair, standardized, and publicly available to everyone. So don't panic, don't believe in rumors, and don't wait until the last minute. Prepare now. Review your documents, know your rights and responsibilities, and go in with confidence. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below if you want a downloadable civics test PDF or English practice workbook. We'll be happy to send you free resources to help you or your loved ones become proud U.S. citizens in 2025.